and resist the craze for greener pasture. As Amnesty International commends the federal government for the trial of Boko Haram suspects. Plus, St. Paul's Catholic Church in Okpe local government area of Delta State collapses on worshippers during Sunday service. These and more on Panorama today with me, Tessie Justin Bisong. Thanks for joining us. And starting off, President Muhammadu Buhari is pleading with Nigerians to have more respect for their country and resist the craze for greener pastures, saying it is more dignifying and reassuring to remain at home and contribute to national growth and development. At an interaction session with members of the Nigerian community in China, the president emphasized that with faithful implementation of the change agenda, the future of Nigeria is brighter. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports.
It was an emotional atmosphere of tremendous respect, appreciation, friendship, and indeed solidarity as President Muhammadu Buhari arrived at the Nigerian embassy in Beijing to keep a date with Nigerians in the diaspora. Flanked by several governors, lawmakers, ministers, and other key government officials, the president listened with rapt attention as the diaspora community from various fields of endeavor spoke their minds regarding his presidency. The China-Nigeria relations, the situation at home, especially on the fight against corruption and insecurity, economic diversification, and what can be done to make life better for Nigerians, as well as their stay in the Asian country more rewarding, dominated their submissions.
We have seen giant strides, and we want to appreciate you so much, Your Excellency, and we can play a constructive role in investment drive towards Nigeria, whether it's at the federal, state, or local government level. We have the resources to be able to play that role.
President Muhammadu Buhari brought them up to speed on the genuine efforts by his administration at sanitizing the country for a sustainable future. He said in spite of the overwhelming problems inherited on coming to power, things are now much more better in the nation's critical economic sectors, and expressed delight that Nigerians are now well informed.
I'm congratulating all of us for being Nigerians. We are not doing badly for our country, and we are very, very grateful to China for her generosity in coming to identify in building our infrastructure, very soft loans, very long time of payment, and very low interest. But we need your understanding and support. Whatever you can contribute back at home by advising your families, to vote for our party. I have no fear about free and fair election. That's what brought me here.
Nigeria's ambassador to China, Baba Ahmed Jeddah, who takes pride in the highly beneficial relations between Nigeria and China, told the president that Nigerians in the Asian country are well-behaved and law-abiding.
President Muhammadu Buhari will inshallah contest and win the 2019 election for a second term of 4 years by the grace of God and the collective will of Nigerians, including those Nigerians from the diaspora gathered in this hall.
Sanity is coming back, as they said, and the anti-corruption fight is one that they've said they have to support. They have to own it and support the president's anti-corruption fight and other measures, like tackling security, tackling the economy, and generally building a strong, solid foundation for the youth of Nigeria, a foundation that can never be shaken anymore, broken.
The president also held an interactive meeting with the Chief Executive Officer and top management of CCECC, a Chinese consortium actively engaged in the nation's infrastructure development enterprise.
Thank you very sincerely for all the efforts you are putting in putting our infrastructure in the right place.
Some 150 Nigerian students being sponsored by the Chinese company under the railway expansion program were introduced to the president.
There are millions of Nigerians, I'm sure, competing for such opportunity. You are lucky to have got it, and I hope you will make the best use of it. And we as a nation are grateful to China for extending this generosity to us.
President Buhari's engagement in China continues. From Beijing, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, ahead of the 2018 Forum on Africa-China Cooperation meeting holding in Beijing, China, a ministerial conference has been held to deliberate on various issues that will preoccupy heads of state and government of 53 African countries and the leadership of the People's Republic of China in the next 2 days. Foreign Desk correspondent Makut Simon Macham reports that Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Minister led the Nigerian delegation to the ministerial conference.
African leaders and the People's Republic of China met in Johannesburg, South Africa to continue dialogue on cooperation that cuts across business, economy, diplomacy, good governance, and much more as the two parties push ahead with the consolidation of growing ties. At the 2018 meeting holding in Beijing, China, the ministerial conference is reviewing progress and challenges recorded since the 2015 Johannesburg conference and setting the agenda for 2019 to 2021. Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyama presented the highlights on the achievements of Nigeria through FOCAC, which he says are playing a key role in boosting the economy, moving it away from oil, and also reviving key infrastructural deficits in the country. 49 foreign ministers and 37 trade ministers, as well as numerous observers and trade delegations, attended the ministerial conference. From Beijing, China, Makut Simon Macham, NTA News.
And Amnesty International Nigeria has commended the federal government over the trial of suspected Boko Haram terrorists, describing the ongoing trial as good progress for the justice sector. In a statement by the special advisor to the Minister of Information and Culture, Segun Adeyemi, the commendation is contained in a letter addressed to the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Mr. Abubakar Malami San, by Osai Ojigo, Country Director, Amnesty International Nigeria, a copy of which was made available to the police and the Minister of Information and Culture. Amnesty International Nigeria said its delegates who were invited to observe the proceedings at the third phase of the trial at Wawa Military Cantonment, Kanji, New Busa, Niger State from the 8th to 11th July 2018 were treated with respect and decorum. And to political matters, Yobe State APC stakeholders say they have no alternative to APC and President Buhari's administration. This is because they have experienced enhanced security in the last 3 years, which has translated into the revival of the people's means of livelihood. The APC stakeholders under the aegis of the Buhari Solidarity Support Group made the declaration in Sabon Garin, Nagari. Hussein Mohammed Isa reports.
The gathering consists of Yobe State All Progressives Congress executives, past National Assembly members, APC stalwarts, among others, who converge to pledge allegiance to APC and President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. Led by the former Deputy Governor of Yobe State, Aliyu Sale Bagare, the group, under the platform of Buhari Solidarity and Support Group, described Governor Ibrahim Gaidam as the only leader of APC in the state, whose direction they will continue to follow politically. In their separate contributions, Aliyu Sale Bagare, former House of Representatives member Pasuma Talba, and state party executives urged people of Nigeria local government to collect their permanent voter cards and be ready for 2019 general elections. Briefing newsmen, the group appealed to Governor Ibrahim Gaidam to remove the bad eggs among them and select new ones based on loyalty performance, and elective positions held. The group thanked President Muhammadu Buhari for the numerous projects executed in the state, which they said have direct bearing on the lives of ordinary citizens. In Damaturu, Hussein Mohammed Isa, NTA News.
Still talking politics, the All Progressives Congress APC says it is amused by the interest the People's Democratic Party PDP shows in the mode of election the APC chooses to adopt for primaries to elect party candidates for the 2019 elections. National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Yakini Nabena, in a statement says it seems that the PDP, on account of its attack of APC's mode of direct primaries, has already conceded defeat even before the 2019 elections. The statement stressed that the APC is a progressive party and will continue to implement the change agenda promised to Nigerians. National delegates at the just concluded conference of the People's Redemption Party have ratified the election of new national chairman of the party, Alhaji Falatu Bello, and other national working committee members. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachikun reports that the ratification is contained in a communique issued at the end of the party's National Delegates Conference in Kaduna.
The 54th National Delegate Conference of the party, members who share original redemptive ideology of its founding father, Malam Aminu Kano, of emancipating the masses from the shackles of poverty, bad leadership and corruption, gathered to discuss issues of national interest as they affect the people and the party, as well as elect new national leadership, especially with the step down of Malam Abdul Qadir Balarabe Musa as the party's national chairman during the National Executive Committee meeting earlier.
Well, the expectation for the new leadership is that it will promote the wanted and expected and demanded third alternative to the existing political parties. We are going to alliance with a group that believe in what we believe. That's all normal.
And what are those things you believe?
We believe that you should be free in this country. We believe in sanctity of the Constitution and rule of law.
As the conference entered closed-door session, a communique on decisions reached regarding the new national leadership of the PRP and other national issues are expected. In Kaduna, I am Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachikun, NTA News.
The need for voters' education on the specifics and mechanisms of electoral process, as well as citizens' rights and responsibilities in electoral process, has been stressed. The Kwara State Electoral Commissioner Garba Atahiru stated this at an Interagency Advisory Committee meeting held in Ilorin. Deborah Aguala completes the story.
Malam Atahiru said the committee is constituted because INEC needs the involvement of other agencies to realize our objective of effective mobilization and education of voters ahead of the 2019 general elections. The resident electoral commissioner enumerated some of the roles of the committee.
Standardize and streamline voters' education messages and materials to ensure the participation of marginalized groups. To pull our efforts together so as to optimize the effectiveness of voters' educational campaign.
He reminded the people of Kwara that the closing date for continuous voter registration still stands at 31st of August, while collection of the voter card continues till a week to the 2019 general elections. Some of the stakeholders comment.
Please, we are begging you that PVC, apart from voting, you can use it to identify yourself anywhere.
Like I said, from the strategies we have implemented, if it is followed religiously.
Our prayer is that INEC should still give us at least 2 weeks.
Members of the advisory committee are drawn from the media organization in the state, professional bodies, and traditional institutions. Deborah Agbola, NTA News.
You're watching Panorama on the network service of the NTA. More stories when we return. Do stay with us. It's good to know you're still watching us on Panorama today with me, Tessie Justin Bisong. Now, moving ahead, St. Paul's Catholic Church in Ope local government area of Delta State has collapsed while worshippers were inside this Sunday. It is, however, not clear the number of casualties, but sources in the community said the incident happened midway into the morning mass and scores of people were affected. As the Buhari administration tackles insecurity in the country headlong, Nigerians have been employed to reciprocate the gesture by being more security conscious at all times. This was at the presentation of the book, Contemporary Security Challenges and Their Solutions, alongside two other books written by Comfort Adamu in Abuja. Sarafina Okon brings us details.
The 12-chaptered book, Contemporary Security Challenges and Solutions, addresses the role of the armed forces, how to ensure maximum security without breaching human rights. The second book, titled Roles and Functions of Nigerian Security Agencies, Federal Ministries, Parastatals, and Their Contacts, spells out the various functions of services by agencies as contained in the various acts and enacted by the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The book's reviewer, Professor Ilya Dong, said if insecurity must become history in Nigeria, Nigerians must get involved in crime fighting.
Considering the grassroots security as the fundamental security structure, it is necessary for us to be aware of this all-important aspect of the societal existence.
If these books were to be written earlier than now, we would not have had anything to do with Chibok or Dapchi kidnapping that were done.
The third book, Security Education for Nigeria, sets the tone for primary school pupils on why they should be security conscious, while leadership of schools must ensure perimeter fencing, adequate security facilities, as this would reduce the high level of kidnapping of pupils and students.
I decided to go into this research for 8 years now, and by the grace of God, the book has come, and the content of this book will help us.
If only parents would devote some little opportunity and sit down with these children, read these security books, let them understand what is it all about, and if these children can grab the fundamentals about security, about avoiding any kind of relationship, friendship, or anything that will lead you into becoming a terrorist, becoming a cultist, becoming a drug addict, we would have saved a generation.
Author of the book, Comfort Adamu, is an educationist and a chief superintendent officer with the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. Catching them young, guests at the event say it is the best way to say no to crime and violence. In Abuja, Serafina Okon, NT News.
The federal government, through the Victim Support Fund, has embarked on 1.5 billion naira for the execution of 31 projects in water supply, schools, and other projects in Yobe State. Vice Chairman, Victims Support Fund, Tijani Musa Tumsa, and the Executive Director of the fund said this while inaugurating the reconstructed public infrastructure in Buyadi headquarters of Gujba local government area of Yobe State. Mustafa Yusuf Musa reports.
The reconstruction of public infrastructures in Buniadi, headquarters of Gujba local government, one of the worst hit council areas in Yobe State by the Boko Haram insurgency, was executed at the cost of 180 million naira by the Victims Support Fund. Inaugurating the reconstructed structures jointly and flagging off of distribution of 12,000 bags of NPK and urea fertilizers donated to IDPs and returnees by the Presidential Committee on the Northeast Initiative, Governor Ibrahim Gaidam and the Vice Chairman of the Victim Support Fund, Tijani Musa Tumsa, said their collaboration has yielded positive results in assisting victims of Boko Haram insurgency in the state.
These projects are about 30 in number, ranging from the local government secretariat to fire station to general hospital in Buniadi.
This unprecedented turnout is a clear indication of their support to the policies and programs being implemented by our administration, as well as for the post-insurgency, peace building and recovery efforts, which are geared towards improving the standard and condition of living of the citizens.
The executive director of the Victim Support Fund, Professor Sunday Ochoche, said apart from intervention in foster care, women empowerment, health, education, livestock distribution to vulnerable people and people affected by the Boko Haram insurgency in the Northeast, the fund has set aside 1.5 billion naira for the execution of 31 projects across Yobe State.
We are here to flag off some, the animal breeding, the distribution of animals, as well as the rain-fed agriculture and the dry season agriculture. All that is ongoing.
The Victim Support Fund and the Presidential Committee on the Northeast Initiative have since their creation collaborating with Yobe State government in the execution of projects, the establishment of local governance, and the restoration of basic amenities to encourage more people return to their communities as normalcy returns. In Damaturu, I am Mustafa Yusuf Musa, NTA News.
And reports just reaching us says member states of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, have resolved to take far-reaching measures towards creating the right conditions for sustainable economic growth and development in the sub-region. These are in the areas of good governance, fight against corruption, combating terrorism, as well as organized crimes by deepening and strengthening relevant institutions. Chairman of the Commission, President Muhammadu Buhari, stated this at a high-level dialogue between Chinese and African leaders, as well as business representatives in Beijing. Adamu Sambo tells us more.
The high-level dialogue, which featured contributions by representatives of the various sub-regions of the African continent, was an opportunity for the Chinese leader Xi Jinping to once again promote his country's Belt and Road Initiative. BRI, as it is called, is a creative endeavor that seeks to tap into China's industrial strength to meet the needs of African countries, especially in the development of infrastructure, industrial parks, human resources, and technical training.
China's investment in Africa comes with no political strings attached. China does not interfere in Africa's internal affairs and does not impose its own will on Africa. What we value is the sharing of development experience and the support we could offer to Africa's national rejuvenation and prosperity. China-Africa cooperation under the BRI is a way of open and inclusive cooperation that will help African enterprises and businesses better integrate into the global value chains and facilitate Africa's industrialization and modernization.
Speaking on behalf of ECOWAS, which he chairs, President Muhammadu Buhari expressed appreciation of member states for China's increasing investment in the sub-region aimed at building a prosperous and shared future.
China is today the largest investor in the sub-region in both the private and public sectors, covering areas such as infrastructure, energy, agriculture, mining, and healthcare. China also provides significant assistance in emergency humanitarian aid and response to climate change.
The president said various projects are now ongoing in the sub-region, including railways, power infrastructure, airports, and numerous routes through Chinese financing. The Nigerian leader was, however, emphatic that while China's help is vital, the main push to transform the economies of the sub-region must come from genuine efforts and commitment by member states.
ECOWAS member states will continue to pay emphasis on encouraging more foreign direct investment in the sub-region. To this end, member states are looking at the opportunities that the China International Import-Export Initiative will offer our exporters to gain market access for their goods and services in China. Such an opportunity will help to diversify the economy of our sub-region from over-reliance on primary agricultural and mineral products, and subsequently correct the huge trade imbalance between China and the ECOWAS sub-region on a win-win basis for both parties. We would also request visa facilitation for our businessmen and women and students who seek to visit China.
The West African sub-region, President Buhari said, is also endowed with numerous tourism potentials and therefore made a case for support by the Chinese government towards developing tourism-related infrastructure to empower the citizens, create more job opportunities, and eliminate poverty. From Beijing, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And that's our package today on Panorama. We do thank you for watching. Do have yourself a beautiful day ahead. Good morning.
Thank you.